Hi, this is Daniela, and welcome to Bestie Life, the podcast, where we help you stop burnout now. If you're tired of running on empty, juggling all the things, and wondering when your life is supposed to feel better, you're in the right place. This show is your go-to space for real talk and practical strategies to help you protect your energy, create balance, and actually enjoy the life you're working so hard for. You'll get a mix of solo episodes and honest conversations with guests. My goal is to help you feel less alone, more empowered, and way more in control of your time and energy and well-being. So let's get into it. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast. I'm so glad you're here with me today because we're going to talk about something that's simple but can be kind of magical when it comes to breaking us out of some of the routines and ruts and doldrum of our day-to-day life. And it has to do with trying new things. And no, I'm not talking about, signing up for trapeze lessons or anything extreme or dramatic or anything like that, though if you want to, I guess, go for it. But I mean really small, doable shifts that kind of wake up your brain and help you feel better even when life can feel a little blah. Especially this time of year, winter can seem like it's dragging on forever and we can get really stuck. And so this is a great way to take some simple steps to break yourself out of it. So grab something to write with, grab your favorite bevy, and let's dive in. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes, what's some of the science behind this. Because what you might not realize when it comes to your brain, every time you try something new, whether it's maybe taking a different route to work, learning how to make a new recipe, or even doing a new activity like journaling for 5 minutes instead of scrolling on your phone, your brain actually starts to build new connections, new neural pathways. And this is called neuroplasticity. And it's basically how your brain stays flexible, sharp, and ready to adapt. This even happens when you start playing some of those brain games and doing Sudokus and things like that. So what the thing is, that part of your brain then that helps with memory and learning, which is called the hippocampus, it actually lights up when you're challenged in a fresh way. They've done scans and things like that to see that by doing these tasks, you're activating this hippocampus and now triggering a little dopamine release, aka those feel-good chemicals, those things that help us not only feel good, but want us to do more of that activity. So even if the thing you're doing isn't perfect or feels like it's, quote, outwardly productive, your brain's like, yes, this is good. Let's do more of this. And so why should you think about these things? Why should we be learning about this? How does it matter? Well, the thing is, it helps your mental health because the thing is, a lot of times we only tend to think about resting and recharging from the perspective of taking a break, whether that's sitting and doing nothing, taking a vacation, going for a massage, things like that. And while those things are great if you can swing them, they're not the only way, and they're not always sustainable on a regular basis. And so to think you have to wait until some big event in order to reset and recharge is not practical, which is why I always talk about real life practical strategies that we can implement in micro moments throughout every single day so that you are getting that reset and recharge every single day. So there's so many different types of new experiences that can give you that same mental lift as taking a break or a vacation. And they can be as simple as trying a new playlist when you're getting ready in the morning. Maybe sitting somewhere differently if you can when you go to do your work. Making something with your hands, even if it's just a doodle on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be some clay sculpture or anything like that. Lately, I've been doing these paint by number kits off of Amazon. But again, just that different type of action and creativity is opening up new pathways in my brain. Maybe reading a different genre of book or watching something outside of your usual kind of scope of programming, as well as even just changing your morning or nighttime routine by one small step. Like, these are just little examples of small ways to give your brain that little kind of ping of freshness, something new, something different, like, oh, I haven't done this before. And that's what's going to not only help you feel more satisfied and curious and creative, but just more mentally awake. And so, those are all great examples, but to really look at, what could this look like in real life for you? How do you actually work this into your already full life? Because I know it can sound overwhelming when I talk about doing something different. So here's where I recommend starting. The first step is to pick just one small switch a day. Pick one small thing to change, whether it's a different pair of shoes, the route you take for your walk, what you're listening to, how you're planning your day. Like, don't overthink it. Maybe it's ordering something different, for your morning coffee or things like that. But just one small switch. Second thing is to stay curious, because it's not about being perfect or getting something right. It's just to experience something different, even if it goes totally wrong, even if it flops, your brain still benefits. And then the third part is to notice the lift, to be intentional with your attention about how you feel afterwards. Maybe you feel a little bit more energized, clear, or even like amused at how silly that was. That's the dopamine talking at that point. Even if try jump roping and you haven't in years, those little things, those little hits is where you start getting the benefit from. And like I said, I know sometimes we're thinking, I'm already overwhelmed, I can't add more to my plate. The good news is you're not necessarily adding, you're swapping. You're taking something you already do every single day on autopilot, some habit you have, and just tweaking it a little bit so that you're slightly more attuned and awake when it comes to it. And that's it. It could be as small as 2 minutes. And that small change, it could help you feel less stuck and more in control over time as you add more of them. So a takeaway from this is to recognize you don't always need some elaborate vacation to feel recharged. You just need some fresh ideas, as well as the willingness to try them and stick with them. Your brain's already wired to respond positively when you mix things up a little bit, so give it something new to chew on. It doesn't have to be big to make a big difference. I would love for you to get back to me and share with me what you did, how you felt afterwards. If you're stuck for ideas, absolutely please reach out as well, because I would love to help you come up with some. And thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you got something out of this episode that really made you feel seen, supported, or just a little bit more grounded. If you have any questions or thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. And if you're up for it, please leave me a 5-star review. That will help more people find the show and join this community. I'll leave you with 2 of my favorite quotes. Alone we may be strong, but together we're stronger. And when we support each other, incredible things happen. So let's keep showing up for ourselves and each other, and maybe even have some fun while we're at it. I'll talk to you soon.